So thank you so much, Ransford, for being here today. And if you're not familiar with this gentleman, he has a super popular YouTube channel called A Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. He is a talented musician, a music producer, very popular online. I was just talking to him about it. And he is the future ambassador for Adidas. So welcome,
Oh, say
welcome,
what?
welcome.
You put a lot of you dressed me in all kind of broad robe just now. Thank you so much, Nikia, for is it pronounced Nikia or is it Nikia or something like that? Because you know, like
Nikia.
Bohemians have Nikia, they just have like a bunch of different ways to pronounce one word. Like, so I just have to go and make sure. But
No, no,
thank
it's
you
all
so
good.
much, and thank you for manifesting my future Adidas ambassadorship. Because I definitely let's pressure them. Put pressure upon Adidas for that.
You put in the pressure. And thank you so much for coming on today. I was very excited to have you on because if persons don't know, you have a channel where you embrace your full on Bahamianness while tackling several topics around the Caribbean, several funny topics, humorous topics, sometimes a little bit challenging. But I want to start off with you telling us a little bit about who you are and where you got your start as a born, bred, and proud Bahamian.
Born bred cadet. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so um I always wanted to do something related to music. Like, I'm sure we all know Who Let the Dogs Out.
Yes.
Uh Bahaman. I'm not related to Bahaman. That's like people just get excited, like they're like, oh, you related to no, I'm not related to Bahaman. But the person that produced it, Eddie Roll, is like pretty much my adopted uncle. He's my dad's best friend, and I had basically idolized him and tried to follow as much of his work as I can, learn the studio work and everything from him. And that got me into pretty much getting into production and stuff like that. I was downloading all kind of pirated illegal software online on a dial-up connection on a broke down Dell, trying to make myself some rap songs and things like that. I was in Xavier's and I used to be writing raps and rap battling people in Xavier's inside the primary school playground. And then from there, like before I knew it, I changed from this little fat ashy black kid inside like his dark room downloading software and making beats on his computer to creating music for corporate media, for of course music artists, different things like jingles, production work, and even getting like behind like the nitty gritty parts about things that people don't want to do. Everybody want to be a rapper. Everybody and their ma and their Grammy want to be a rapper or a singer. So I said, okay, I need to do something that basically enables that. So that's what I essentially did. I did the audio work, did the microphone work, the everything that you need in order to make a song. I did that. And this pissed my dad off royally because he because just like every Caribbean parent, they want you to be a doctor or a lawyer, stuff like that. However, I had like this part of me, this musical artistic part of me that I needed to satisfy some way, somehow. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. And for a long time, I pretty much shelved that. I came to the States to pursue political science, and I still do political research at Iowa State University. And pretty much, I got to this point where like I was fulfilled in that area as far as like, okay, I'm doing basically that stuff to pacify my parents so that they could go and like tell their coworkers and things like that, oh yeah, my son doing this and that, how they go. But I still didn't feel fulfilled in my passions, the things that made me happy, the things that I do when I'm procrastinating. So here along comes something like YouTube, where I basically, one of my friends, he's in Toronto right now, and he was doing pranks. Like, he wanted me to go and feature in a prank video. And we was doing prank videos, and like it did pretty well. I got like a couple thousand views or something like that. And everybody just kept on saying, hey, the little dark one should go and make his own YouTube channel, man. What is YouTube channel? What his IG is? And I was just like, you know what? I always wanted to do it. I say, why not? And the channel grew from me doing vlogs. Like, I have like a Bahamian vlog from a long time where I was talking about my top favorite things about the Bahamas. And then like I did a vlog that I had to quickly take down called my top least favorite things about the Bahamas, because Bahamians literally drag the hell out about me. You're gonna say, what you talking about? The top, everything has to be your favorite thing about the Bahamas. You gotta love everything.
We could
Um,
rally behind, like, that's one thing that can unite us. If we have to rally behind to get to raggy somebody, Oh, that's the
Ooh.
uniting factor.
Especially one of our own. Like if we see a Bahamian doing something, oh gosh. And I think I said something about like I don't like hurricanes. And then like they was just like, why are you telling people that we have hurricanes? I was just like, you think that people don't know that we have hurricanes?
Secret.
So yeah, I did that. And then from there it transformed into commentary somehow, some way. Uh you understand as a marketing person that you have to like find a way how to find your target audience and like you got to figure out what you want to do, your niche and stuff like that. And I was basically saying, okay, I could do the vlog stuff, but the vlog stuff ain't necessarily going. I basically had this mission to bring Caribbean culture to the world. Pretty much, I wanted everybody to, when they're talking about something even related to not only like Caribbean but like black politics or anything like that, social commentary, I want them to also acknowledge the Caribbean voice. And I didn't know how to go about doing that. I want to show, not expose, but expose Americans for being ignorant of Caribbean culture because they think the whole Caribbean is Jamaica. So I was just like, okay, I want you all to always know that the Bahamas exists. We're not just a place where people come take some pictures on the beach and Fire Festival almost happened. It's more than that. Like it's a vibrant life and everything like that. So yeah, from there it just ended up into commentary. And at this point, I think I'm about to reach 17,000 subscribers, which isn't that much,
That's a lot.
but it's far
Congratulations.
more it's far more than I thought I'd have in under 2 years.
And one of the things I think that originally attracted me to your channel when I clicked on it, a lot of persons they feel like we have to, downplay our accent, or we have to, put on the Queen's English or the American English or something like that. When I heard you speaking with that beautiful broad Bohemian accent, I was like, yes, yes, that's my people's.
That's sweet
So,
things.
what has kept you so grounded in your Bohemian culture, even living in the States?
Well, that's the thing, and this is it's so important for not only Bahamians, but I think anybody from the African diaspora that's living in the States, to just get a vacation away from whiteness, like probably annually. I would say bi-monthly, but annually at least, because if I stayed here consistently, I would have definitely gentrified myself. Like I would have definitely whitewashed myself. And I don't know, I'd end up like Wayne Brady or Sidney Poitier. But that's very
Oh, you
controversial.
put
We
the
can't be saying
spicy
them
take
things.
on there.
No, I love Sidney Poitier. But I would have basically been a Bahamian that is, how Bahamians is go over to Miami for like one weekend and then they come back speaking, Miami accent, thing like that. Basically, that's what would end up happening to me if I was over here for more. I every chance that I get to go home, I go home. I was just home, must say about a month ago, and I could be back home in about 3 weeks. Like I always try to find a way. If it's holidays, I barely miss holidays. If I could get out, I will get out because I understand, especially, that's what I tell a lot of Black Americans too, that if you stay here for long enough, I mean, if you let the educators and history and the news pundits and all these people tell you, is that there's no Black nation that's worth, being in. America is the be all and end all. It's the most prosperous nation in the West. And people don't realize that like we have a nation that's always had Black prime ministers, that's black lawyers, Black bankers, Black opulence. There's extremely wealthy Bahamians, and I mean that's not all about it. There's functioning governments and cultures and things to be proud of from Black nations. And it's not that we could run our own things. That's like what I try to tell people. Like, I mean, like when Black Americans come to the Bahamas, yeah, of course, like they get the whole vacation experience, but I don't think that they necessarily could appreciate the fact that this is a country where Black people are pulling the strings. Like it, yeah, you have some white benefactors here and there investing in businesses, but it's Black people. There's a Black country led by Black people for Black people. And that's one thing that keeps me grounded, just being able to go back and forth. And of course, like watching things like Rodney Monkey and things like that. Just just to like just
Powerful.
to keep the flair. It's powerful. It's powerful.
And I just mentioned you had a spicy take there, and that's one of the things I like about your channel because some topics I'm not even gonna lie. I am a born, bred, good, dead, proud Black Bohemian woman, but we mix up like conch salad. When you take a family portrait of me, you can find me easy. Let me just put it that way. So
Exactly.
when it comes to topics like colorism or things like that, I tend to I'm not the correct messenger, but I think that you
Mm.
have a voice where you can have that dialogue. And what has it been like, not only having those, humorous conversations, but those challenging conversations on your channel?
I've been like unofficially, unceremoniously canceled for speaking out like against Caribbean homophobia. Like that was actually one of my breakout videos in my opinion, even though like I think I was at like 3,000, 4,000 subscribers before I did the Caribbean homophobia video. And so many people found it that I didn't want and expect to find it. I had literally people from all over the Caribbean diaspora, Trinidadian, Bermudan, Bahamian, literally in the comments crying because like they were basically saying that they left their country and fled to Canada or fled to the United States or fled to Europe because they felt unsafe. And as a Bahamian, that is, I won't even say was, is homophobic, and it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. It's funny. TJ Burrows from Collage Them that made
Oh,
Stop Liking Man.
I,
he just found my video.
DJ.
And I adore him. So like I was like literally like just scrolling through comments, and I try not to like scroll through comments too much, but I do. And then like I saw like TJ, he was just like, he's like, I friggin' knew it. And like he put the Bahamian flag subbed, and I was just like, hold on, this might look familiar. I look at his face. I go, say, but it's the mate from Stop Liking Man. I say, stop it, wait. I was just like, and it's crazy because that is a part of our culture. Like that video is a part of our culture. It's one of the first, if only real, truly Bahamian videos. Of course, Tap could kill me, but like and I love Tap, and Tap knows that. But I mean, but that video in itself is so Bahamian. Like it is just so modern Bahamian. Like, of course, like my old man could go inside all kind of different videos, like a Cylinder and Pinland video, but that video speaks to our generation in a way that I don't think much media can. So to see him find my video on Caribbean homophobia, where I think I talk about the phrase I say a lot, like saying you like man as a derogatory statement, and just breaking that down as to like why do we think that liking man is derogatory. It's just extremely humbling and sobering to have that. And that being the video that broke me out kind of and introduced me to an audience that I would have not been able to reach had I was just doing, Bahamian vlogs or something like that. And now having somewhat of a dedicated audience that comes every Thursday to like watch me talk about things like sexual tourism in the Caribbean, or as you said, colorism in the Caribbean, all kind of different things like black fetishization of black bodies and everything like that. It's is incredible because that's us. Like this ain't I'm talking about things adjacent to things that black people everywhere feel, but I'm doing it through a Caribbean lens. Like I have this video on the commodification of the N-word, which where we talk about like I use a Bahamian trope, and I talk about like this story where I was talking with someone from African American descent, and they heard me say the N-word, and they were telling me that I couldn't say the N-word, and talking about like how people don't necessarily appreciate the fact that there's slavery in the Caribbean, and this monopolization of black people in America that basically says that we're the only ones that could grieve over racism when we experience racism in the Caribbean. So handling these like tough topics with humor, like, and of course storytelling, which I'm very big on, and that's an incredibly Bahamian thing as well, because we're the best storytellers there are.
Whether true or not, we can
I
tell
no I
the
We could tell a story, a Bahamian, and I mean my stories are watered down. Like if I go underneath the dock and listen to some fellas, if I go Potter's Key and thing and listen to them fellas talk, slamming dominoes and drinking Kalik, the stories that you will hear are so vivid, and sometimes I just have to go there to get inspired, to like actually relay stories like that. Being able to talk about very serious topics and do it in a way that is palatable, and just being able for them to digest it, laugh, cry, and also end up thinking about something afterwards. That's all I want. That's ultimately all I want. And I'm blessed to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I think you are doing a fantastic job because you mentioned something really impactful. The Stop Liking Man videos. They were a commentary on our society, and people, they weren't even, paying
True.
attention because growing up, the N word, you say it, I say it, nobody thought about it. It was like, I think I was about 13 or 14 the first time I was like, wait, what does it really mean, and things along those lines. So I think that having those conversations, those difficult conversations, the things that are left over in our society from slavery, and things that are just still relatively fresh in our society that we don't even think about. I think that your channel is doing a great service with shedding a light on those things.
I, shoot, I really appreciate that. Coming from you, that right there makes it go full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. We talked about some heavy things. But I want to talk more about this music. Now, you had a particular line in there. You say you was the girls them. And I want to look
No,
at my
how
phone.
you know them
I
lines?
want to get the right line. I'm not
Oh,
gonna. I
poets.
believe it was the girls them oxtail and rice.
Well,
Uh,
man, freeze you. No, man, you listen to the Adidas freestyle. Oh
yes,
gosh,
yes.
no, man.
How I could come here doing an interview and not listen to the Manda music?
I wasn't
So
ready for that though. You sent me questions and I wasn't ready for this one. I mean, I just looked at them before this, but I was
I just
still mad. And you,
I warn you, there's one that's the only curveball. You have to tell me about, the music making process because I know you speak about being a producer. I know you speak about being behind the scenes, but tell me what has inspired you. You started a little bit, but tell me about the musicians and the people who have inspired you to put your voice out there as a musician, a talented one, I might
you see, like you could throw me curveballs and then try
add.
butter me up and
I
things
had to
like
throw you
that.
down one curveball. One, this one.
All right. I mean, obligatory. I have to, of course, like my favorite Bahamian artist is Exuma, the Obeah man.
Mhm.
And people don't notice, like a lot of people don't even realize like how big Exuma the Obeah man was and still is. Like there are old weird white people like Bob Dylan and things like that listen to Exuma the Obeah man, that cite him as a musical influence because what he's doing is making folk music that was like they call it freak folk, which is basically this like weird oddity of folk music, which is guitar, but nobody could play guitar like it's nobody could play a guitar like Joseph Spence. You can't even understand Joseph Spence sometimes. Joseph Spence literally sound like this drunken fella underneath the dock yet again with a guitar, singing things like rock your body one time, like, and of course Ronnie Butler is one of the best Bahamian musicians ever, one of the most influential. But people like that have always inspired me. Of course, Eddie Roll. I love Ancient Man. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened to Ancient Man, but like I think he was on the track to becoming one of the best modern Bahamian musicians ever. Rake and Scrape in general, I feel like is under threat. Not only because like it's not being made that much, but because like they just haven't really innovated it that much. Like you could play pretty much the same. I could play pretty much the same couple Rake and Scrape songs using the same three chords and the same vocal stylings. I'm pretty sure like the majority of Rake and Scrape songs nowadays are just the same three chords. Nobody's like doing anything different in Rake and Scrape. So it's under threat of being, phased out for things like soca, things like chutney, things like dancehall, that have far more vast range and stuff like that. But like Bahamian genres like Rake and Scrape or even like calypso, even though that's not totally ours, but the way we do calypso, um, man, like if we had some more people actually doing that, I know that, but like a lot of the time, like I listen to like a lot of Bahamian rappers. I don't know, like if you know like Von Trap, that's my brethren. Like I'm not gonna make this like a video like where I'm like just like shout out Von Trap, like shout out all these people. No,
I
I'm,
feel
I'm
like
not
we
gonna
need
do
one of
that.
those buttons to go ba 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 ba.
I have that, but like I could you hear that? You couldn't hear that, can you?
No.
All of these things that like I had planned are just failing on me. But anyway, I literally have a DJ air horn that I just play it. I could hear it. Of course, you can't hear it because that's how technology works. But yeah, Von Trapp. Um, there's just like so many different Bahamian artists that like I've had the pleasure of meeting. And Lyman, where I have a video of Von Trapp on there that's just from like the old days, like where we're just like reading like stories and stuff like that. That's one of my funniest videos that people won't even understand. But I think that musically, how I've been influenced, I've also I'm not proud of this, but I went to St. Andrews. Um and like it hurts to say it. I
I
hated
feel
St.
like that could be
Andrews.
another like hot take too.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, shoot. Is it a hot take to hate on St. Andrews? Because I
I feel
mean, like,
I feel like I can't go out this weekend now because they could be like, oh, she was talking to man who St. Andrews. One thing I think you need to make a video on the very very unique subculture that is the Providence private schools. I'm not
hmm?
sure if it's the same thing in Grand Bahama because I went to I'm a proud Blue Jay, 8 High School. I don't know if you're
I
familiar
gotta
with
look at that.
it,
I gotta look
but
at
like
that.
in Nassau, like to this day, I still get asked, which high school you went to, and I was like, I I mean, that was a while ago, but sure. But yeah, sorry, I sidetracked you, but I was like, Lord,
No, you
I
just
that's
gave
the
me a
one thing.
video idea.
That's the one thing in this video. Please don't cancel me, St. Andrews, please.
No, like seriously, like I'm still like very mad that I went. My dad is a soccer,
Oh, the
and
big
like
red
he,
Indian.
oh my god,
The
I
fact
couldn't
that
go
I
to
didn't
Sac.
even grow up in Nassau and I know about like all of these things to tell you.
But like St. Andrews, Lord, I don't even think it's popular to like not. I don't even think it's controversial to drag St. Andrews because that basically gave me an opportunity to, get a get to decide my own identity. Because if I had just went to SOC, I wouldn't have been able to. I would have had to listen to Vibes Cartel. I would have had to like do certain things just to survive. Like I could not have been listening to like I don't listen to them, but like things like Coldplay or Nickelback. I don't listen to that, but I mean like, but just like things that are canonically not Bahamian things to listen to. Because like throughout high school, the only thing I was listening to was indie rock and electronica and weird Swedish pop and stuff like that. So like I wouldn't have been able to do that if I was in a place where like there was a more dominant school culture. It was more individualistic and it allowed me to like express myself in ways like that. So that's the only thing that I am thankful for when it comes to St. Andrews. That but yeah, other than that, that's my soapbox rant on St. Andrews.
I actually have, well, this one is a question that I didn't send you prior, but it's not a curveball. You
Okay.
touched on something very important that, I went to a government school. So when
Mm,
growing up, you were told that you don't do certain things. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to listen to this type of music. You don't eat this type of food. But now I think Bohemians are branching out and they're being more comfortable to explore things that they had to, listen to in private, like, so how do you think, Bohemians are evolving in terms of how they relate and interact with the world at large?
Um, I think globalization of just media in general, Bahamians are just yet another victim to that. I think the Bahamians, the fact that we could get online and we could immerse ourselves in a totally different culture than our own. I've had some Bahamian people that comment on my videos that found me when a very popular YouTuber, Khadijah Umbo, they're non-binary and they basically shouted me out on one of the videos that I did comparing American racism to Caribbean racism. And like Bahamian found me and I was just like, what are you doing watching this? Like the things that Khadijah Umbo talks about is very like non Caribbean things. Like, but then I think about it and I'm all like, okay, well, what are we going to watch on YouTube? Like, I mean, we're on YouTube. What are they watching? So of course, like it makes sense that some of these people are watching things that they would normally not watch. I mean, I have like my brother, like my unofficial brother that basically grew up with him. Like he was living in like shoots, he was in Twin Heights and all kind of weird things. Like I literally go to like a trap house where fellas was like literally like you would have drugs on one side and then fellas watching anime and like talking about weed culture and stuff like that. So it's weird to see like the quote unquote like marginalized class of the Bahamas being engrossed in very in a culture that they you wouldn't associate with them, like a culture that listens to anime, I mean watches anime and listens to like like weird like things and make that type of music. But it makes sense if you think about just how globalized the world is becoming. So I think the Bahamian of tomorrow is um far less conservative than what you have today. We still have, of course, the homophobia and the sexism and the misogyny and a lot of misogyny. Jesus Christ, a lot of misogyny. Like you really would think that like these fellas do not like women. Like, but I mean, um,
That's a topic. I didn't even get started on that because
I got some videos. I got some bars for that. I got some bars for that because I mean, like, I just got like videos, like, of course, the WhatsApp circulating, the circulations, like, where like I just like saw that gal get dragged in the road, like domestic stuff like that. Like, I'm just like, anyway. But uh, I think that you're gonna see, hopefully, less of that. I'm thinking that you're gonna, the more we're exposed to, you know, just culture in general, I think that we're going to begin to leave some of our hackneyed vestiges from colonialism. Like we ain't learned this by ourselves. Bahamians aren't inherently very misogynic, sexist, and homophobic people. We get this from colonialism. We get this from slavery. Future.
I was just going to say something. I was just going to make a comment about Christopher Columbus,
Mhm.
but I was like, let's not go down that path because I feel like both of us would get hype on that.
Yeah, they need to take down like Queen Elizabeth statue next. That's the thing.
You know, I might get a little hype on that. Once I'll leave. You know, we need to have a follow up conversation.
Of
But
course.
I want to talk about. So I want to backtrack just a little bit. I only recently realized in my big grown age how big Baha Men were with Who Let the Dogs Out, how far reaching, how big that song was. Just recently because it's like I couldn't, when it was in the heart of or the full influx of their fame, I didn't comprehend, what that phenomenon was, but now I do. And we see that Bohemians, they can go to any corner of the universe and succeed. So I want to ask you, how far do you see yourself going? Where do you see yourself in the future, taking your channel and your career?
And yeah, like and to that point, like about Bahamians could go anywhere and succeed, and they have, like like a Sidney Poitier exists as much as I like make fun of him, and like Sidney Poitier, I people didn't even know. Like I did a video on Caribbean Heritage Month, and people didn't even know that the person that wrote the Black Negro anthem in the States
Mhm.
was from Miami. And if he's in Miami, he's Bahamian. Chances are he's Bahamian. You search it up and like literally I looked at this fella's name. I'm like, this fella's look Bahamian.
Mhm.
He's Bahamian. It's a Bahamian fella that wrote the Negro national anthem of the States. And like it's not only Bahamians, of course. I'd like to go and say like we're the best Caribbean country. But I mean, of course, Haitians, Basquiat is a Haitian, Kamala Harris, like that's a Jamaican woman, even if she ain't want to claim it all the time, but I just can't stop talking things. My mouth is the only thing that could get me in trouble. So when you ask me where my career would be in like the next 5 years, hopefully not in jail or canceled. Um, but like
Speaking big things.
it's only speaking big things,
Yeah.
lighten the sage. But where do I see myself with it? I honestly don't know, and it excites me, because like it's just so many different things that YouTube, of course, isn't the end goal. I always say that like it is a platform that isn't going anywhere. Like if people ask me Bahamians to like, is it too late to like start like a YouTube channel or do like this and that and this? And it really is not. Like you could still go on this channel, you could still go on this platform and make blow up. But it's not only blowing up, it's being able to sustain yourself off of this type of stuff. And it is definitely a good side hustle for me right now. But there are literally contemporaries that I have. I'm literally in a Discord with people that do this as a full-time job, that literally clear an easy 100K over this a month, off of just like one stream of income. And people don't realize just like it's not just YouTube, like it's not just ads. YouTube doesn't pay you. It's the things that you get paid for because of what you do on YouTube. So of course I have a Patreon where like people like pay me a monthly subscription fee just to like sometimes not even to upload content. Like I don't even upload that often, but people pay me just to, support what I'm doing already. So like I get messages from all kind of people. I think I have like maybe one or two Bahamians inside that place. But I get comments like with people pledging, like they pledge like $50 just because they're just like, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing, or hey, this Caribbean homophobia video, I sent this to my mom so I could explain to the things that I couldn't explain, and if it wasn't for you, like I wouldn't have been able to come out. So here, and like stuff like that. Of course, like it's gratifying, but it's also sustainable, and you have stuff like that. You have ad revenue, of course, like where you get paid for ads. So like a video that I think my what is it? My biggest video, one of my biggest videos on the dragging Caribbean character videos, like where I like drag like Grim from Billy and Mandy, who's Jamaican, or the crab from Little Mermaid, who's who's Trinidadian apparently. Um, I drag them, and that's a 39K, almost at 40K, and like that I think cleared like about like 2000 in ad revenue. I'll be very transparent like with things like that. And I'm not saying that to like brag about it, but I'm just basically saying like it is a viable source of income. It is work. It is work. I think that like a lot of Bahamian people, especially a lot of Caribbean people, especially like my dad, like it's just this abstract thing where they were like, oh, like when, well, you still need a 9 to 5, like specifically where you get in a suit and tie and you go to like this shadowy place and suffer for like a couple hours, because otherwise it's not work. If you're enjoying it like this and having fun, and like I don't like see you like doing X, Y, and Z, it's not work. And people need to understand that this is work. Like content creation is work, and that it is toiling, it is very taxing, but it could also be very satisfying, and it could also be very sustainable. So where do I see? I have absolutely no idea, and I love it. I do definitely want to come back home at some point soon, just because like it's because I want to be near family. And I've been gone for so long. I just like I really want to be near family. And I think like my content will only get better if I were to go back home. Because like then I'm really at the source, and like it's not diluted at all. Um, Podcasting is gonna be very big. So I'll give this an opportunity. I'll use this as an opportunity to like tell people um that, if they want to make a podcast. Um I know like Baha Yogi and them like just made like a podcast. That's great. I think that like that's a great idea, and I think more people should do that. And I hope they keep it up. Abby and all of them just doing that. Uh, I think that that's really important. Podcasting is apparently going like is the next big industry. So like if people want to talk and just like get around with their friends and talk, this is the time to talk.
Yeah.
And doing stuff like that, content creation, yeah, especially, but just like bridging that off into like something else and leveraging that. So like I'd love to leverage this into something else, of course. Because you only have a short shelf life on YouTube. You only pop in for so long. And I ain't even necessarily think I pop in yet, but like once you like necessarily get to like 100K, or 200K, you either getting canceled in the next 3 years because you say something stupid, or you just lose relevancy. You just basically you can't change the format, so you always have to be recreating yourself to figure out like what's the next thing that I could branch into, or when you are popping, invest into something that is very concrete and sustainable. So yeah, that's a very long-winded answer to your question about like where do I see myself. In short, I have absolutely no idea, and I'm loving every minute of being blissfully ignorant of where the hell I'm going to take this in the next 5 years.
With big things, big
Big things, big things. Of course, Adidas.
Now I have one last question. I don't have a neon sign like Diaz is a barrel, so we're just going to pretend. So my very last question is, why do you love the Bahamas?
Jesus Christ. I mean, there's just like so many different like reasons why like I love my home so much. But I think the one part about the Bahamas that I miss the most when I'm not there, of course, it's people, and that's also like the reason why I hate the Bahamas the most sometimes. But like, it's also the reason why like I love the Bahamas the most is because we have such a we have such a warm, welcoming, and uncompromising spirit. Despite whatever like we're going through. we just seem to persevere like regardless, and it's just absolutely inspiring. You can't find it anywhere else. It's definitely not the beaches. Like you could take away the beaches, like you could break down all of these buildings, but like something about Bahamians, like we just have this indefatigable spirit to just go anywhere and conquer, and exemplify themselves in any way possible. Even if a Bahamian doesn't show his Bahamianness shows because of just how arrogantly they go, she goes into basically whatever they feel like. And that's what I love about it the most, because that literally makes me what I am. So I definitely think it's a Bahamian spirit that I love the most, that you just can't find anywhere else. That's bar none. And the slackness, because like I love slackness. And like there ain't no place slacker than Nassau. Like I love it.
It's my favorite place that's not a real place.
Oh Lord, it ain't a real place. Lord knows. Lord knows.
So thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us today. Now, before we leave, you'd have to tell the people how they could follow you, how they could join you, how they could see your journey and your rise to ambassador of Adidas.
Oh gosh. Okay. You keep speaking into manifestation.
I'm
I could get
speaking
I already see the email inside my box right now. Right now I'm only on YouTube just because social media is a cesspool, and I hate to be off on it for too long. I might very well get back on it at some point. Like I just deactivated my IG, and I could only see myself getting back on IG maybe. But for now, definitely Foreign Man in a Foreign Land. You can find it on YouTube. Of course, there's a Patreon and a Discord and stuff like that where like you could get to me. But also like, if you just want to send me a letter inside my email, and I read novels, I write novels and I read novels. So I mean like if you just want to go and like just like write something in there, chances are I will read it. I won't read it maybe this like in the second, but I'm definitely gonna get to it. But yeah, I definitely will. And where can is this gonna be on YouTube? Because I definitely want to go and like, if
definitely.
it goes on YouTube, it's going on my YouTube. So I'm gonna go and
Yes, I
like
can
send it
definitely
around.
send it to you. Pink sounds cool for too.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Thank you so much, Nikia.
Thank you so much for joining us. And Ransford, I look forward to see you doing big, big, big things, and continuing to be the girls them oxtail and rice,
You know, you ain't got no sense. Like, it's just say you come back for this thing again
All right, thank you so
after
much.
me.
Thank you everybody for joining us for today's Pink Sounds 242 Digital Expo video. We have some more stuff coming up, so stay tuned.